We're here in Goa with Sumeet Narang, the President Marketing at Bajaj Auto, and at a very large event that they just pulled off. This is the first adventure rally in India. Sumit, it's a really big event. I haven't seen anything on this scale from Bajaj Auto yet. Tell us how this has been going.
Well, we've done a lot of things at scale, but certainly you're quite right. I think for KTM, it's been a huge leap for us. The Adventure Rally, as you know, is a global property of KTM. Right. And the select countries where these rallies have happened, New Zealand, Poland, Norway, South Africa. And we're quite lucky that, India's been one of the earlier ones. Yeah, it's a great one. We've had some close to 130 bikers riding up over here, including company people and, people from the auto fraternity, and a lot of customers, about 90 to 100 people who are KTM owners signed up for it for a 3-day rally. So it's really overwhelming to see the response. And more than anything else, the energy and the camaraderie of people over here.
Yeah. I was one of those riders. I am exhausted right now, but I've had a great time.
I was also one of the riders, but I'm not exhausted.
I wish I had your levels of energy. But, I think I'm impressed by the sort of rider we've seen over here. These are people who've been willing to push their limits, try new things. You've built a community. I don't think that's come very easy.
It's taken us time. So we actually got around to working on all of this. A change point for us was when we launched the KTM Adventure. So which was actually in December 2019 at IBW. Right. You were there. You would recall we announced it. Correct. And we launched it actually during the COVID month. So about, say, 5-6 years. We had a very successful community program before that with the Dukes, the Orange Days and all, as you would have heard about. But then we realized with Adventure, we were catering to a very different audience. And second and more important, when it comes to off-road bikes, Adventure, I mean, that's really that's the backyard of KTM. That's where we've got all our, big wins. We've got some of the best products over there. I mean, it's kind of really where, the brand resides. So we've spent a lot of time understanding the various formats that operate, what kind of experiences KTM does for its customers. And we put together this whole program, what you call as Pro XP. Yeah. That's what all our ride and community program is called as Pro XP. Experiences that make you a pro, or at least your journey towards that. And we started working with the community. We started doing adventure academies in batches of 20-25 people, adventure trails. And we've really scaled it up. And that's where I think one of the strengths at Bajaj Auto is to perfect something, and then how can we execute at scale? So right. For example, under this Pro XP, every year we have close to 30,000 customers who engage with us on some kind of ride format or the other, whether organized by us or by our dealers. And 30,000 on a brand which is selling close to about, let's say about 90 to 100,000 bikes in a year is a huge, huge number. Yeah. What we are seeing today, I think, is a culmination of all that effort. We've been working on that community. We've been eyeing on doing this adventure rally for a long time, and delighted that it's finally happening right now. So we've worked with this community for a long time over academies, trails, adventure tours, and really excited that people are happy and wanted to sign up for this.
So with the positive turnout you had, can we safely assume that this will be a yearly event in India going forward?
So the adventure rally is a global format.
Yes.
I don't know whether I can commit whether it will be an annual event, but something like this, certainly we would love to do it annually. Okay. Even if I don't get it under the umbrella of Adventure Rally, but that's okay. But still, we would look at doing something like this and, flying either Chris or an expert, in case Chris is not available.
Yeah, in some sort of exotic location in the country somewhere.
Exotic or rough location?
Yes, both. So I want to ask you how you've seen the adventure customer in India evolve, because there have been a few instances that I've noticed over the last few months that have showed me that the adventure customer in India is quite a serious person. You brought out the Enduro R with an India spec model. Yeah. And you quickly realized that the customer wants the full international spec bike. You brought that out as well. And now I think the focus is on the international spec bike. That's the majority of where the sales are going, as far as I understand. Same thing with Adventure R. You brought the Adventure R now, the full-size bike.
Yeah.
So is the Indian customer, surprising you in that sense in how they're accepting what is a challenging event that you've just pulled off and full-size bikes as well?
Yeah. So I think we got to understand and appreciate that per se the entire adventure motorcycling segment in India is possibly even less than 10 years old.
Yeah.
And our journey has been about 5-6 years with KTM. And you're right, like any segment in the beginning, there is probably just one segment of customers who's looking for a bike that can take them from a point A to a point B on a very bad terrain without, failing or without dropping them.
Yeah.
But I think as this time has gone by and as we have given experiences to people, they've come and coached at our academies, it's kind of started creating different offshoots. So there are some people who don't only want to challenge themselves on different terrains, but also they are looking at mastering the technical terrains as well. Right. They're looking at upping their skills and not just in terms of managing to traverse it, but actually enjoy it. So those are more, kind of the more evolved guys. And there's some people who look at it as a very good option to touring.
Correct.
Because
I think that will be the majority.
It's a majority, and I think it's a segment that's going to really explode. Because that's really the beauty of the country lies. Yeah. And we are not blessed with the best roads, although I must say that the moment we get out of our cities, the quality of highways has improved. The quality of B roads and country roads have certainly improved. And if you are on an adventure and if the road is bad, you're not complaining. You actually feel the bike's coming to good use. Yeah. So we are definitely seeing, I've seen today at the rally over here, I've seen a whole lot of customers who have moved up to Enduro. So these are obviously people who were previous adventure customers and they wanted to move up to the next level. Yes, you're right. The international spec, it was, the Enduro per se is a new segment in the country. Right. So somewhere these are, difficult calls to make. That
Absolutely,
how do you, rather than confusing the market with too many models, let's go with a certain hero model, because the international spec model, as you're aware, because of the suspension travel, had a higher seat height. And the feedback we've been getting all along was that seat height, should be lower. We actually lowered the seat height from our generation 1 adventure to generation 2.
Correct.
But yes, customers do surprise us, and maybe they're right, and therefore we were quick to react to it.
I think that's the appreciable thing, how fast you reacted and you gave people what they wanted.
Yes, I think that's something which we have always done, whether it's KTM or whether it's the Pulsar NS400 or any of other brands. So we pick up those feedback and we say, yeah, sure, why not? If there are people who would want to go in for that, or the Adventure R, certainly why not? So that way, our offering between an Adventure X to the Enduro R actually straddles an entire gamut of adventure riders. So from a time where people had to pretty much make do with one adventure bike that could be the one thing for all kind of applications, today they can really pick and choose or have multiple bikes. Yeah.
What do you see the RC brand becoming? It seems to be the one brand, and not just in India, globally, that format of motorcycle is sort of becoming more niche.
Yeah.
How is that format, the super sport format in India, looking for you? You've got the RC 160, which caters to an audience that loves the R15, and that's a big market. But what about the bigger RCs? What's going to happen there?
So we are very much continuing with it. Okay. I think it's doing very well. The bigger RCs are really very well targeted to people who are seeking that kind of a track level performance. And it's a great bike for that. So that's one area which we would continue to nurture.
So it does continue?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because it's the only one left on the old engine. So I think there's that question out there, but what is the future of the RC?
But that doesn't hold anything back.
Okay.
It's built on a certain platform and mated with a certain engine. But that's the way the product is, and people love it for that. But by all means, definitely, it's continuing. RC is a very important part of our mix.
Good to hear.
And there is a segment of people who swear by it.
Yeah.
And there is no reason why we should deny them, the RC390.
Tell me what we can expect for 2026. It looks like it's going to be a really busy year for you all, especially. There's a lot lined up from Bajaj. I know you won't comment on specifics, but is the GST smaller scale engine just the exciting thing? Is there other stuff as well?
We have pretty much the entire range of KTM bikes in India now. You know, I think what customers had been asking for a long time. We've got the big bikes. We've got everything right from 1600 to about, you know, the 1290s, as people want. Of course, I mean, there will be, you know, some new models that will keep coming as they do for every year. And like you rightly guess, it'll be premature for me to comment on that. But I think our larger focus is going to be at creating more customized experiences for the community.
Right.
So the adventure rallies just kind of completed today. We're definitely very encouraged. A lot of ideas. We have to go back and regroup and see, okay, how do we do? Can we take this experience more often at a regional level and all that? We have the KTM Cup happening next month. And that's again an equally big experience property for us. And that's going to, next year we would look at taking it to even more towns to actually find
The qualifiers.
the qualifiers, you know, from literally across the length and breadth of the country, identify the right talent, get the best ones over for the finals. They get groomed over there.
Right.
So, you know, that itself, I mean, we're getting Danny Pedrosa for the KTM Cup, and it's a lifetime opportunity for people to, you know, to not just meet him, but actually get coached by the guy and get his tips and all that. And just like, you know, we saw, and you and I were also talking about it, we had Chris Birch over here, who's like a
Fantastic
legend.
experience.
He's a legend in off-road racing. And you don't need to spend 3 hours with Chris Birch to, like, you know, to learn. I mean, somehow you find just few things he would just say, and they just resonate so well with you. And I've been hearing that from a lot of people. So similarly, I think as some of the best racers engage with Dani, I'm sure they will go back a lot richer. So that's going to be a big property, and I think we are looking at creating more such experiences for you know, our customers over here. Experiences that money can't buy.
Right.
Experiences which give them a full glimpse of KTM as a global brand with all its prowess in motorsports and a whole lot of international athletes that we have built, that KTM has relationships with, and we're going to be building, you know, those kind of programs. So that's going to be one big area for us.
Final question. I want to touch on the big bike side of things. Triumph is continuing as is. KTM, they came in one launch event, which was about nearly 2 years ago. They are, you know, pre E20, and it's been a while, and we can fully understand because you had your hands full with KTM over the course of the last year. Does the big bike business continue to be focused on in India, or is there going to be a lull period before we start getting some more big bikes in?
No, very much. There were a few hiccups here and there because of all the supply chain challenges, but that's all behind us. And yeah, absolutely, there's no question about it. There's no going back on that. In fact, we would only be, you know, bringing in new formats.
So there'll be fresh models coming in this year, big bikes?
Yes, definitely. Why would we not look at that?
Great to know.
So between Triumph and KTM, and like what we were talking a while back, I think there is an Indian customer for as much for any kind of model as they would be around the world. And, you know, our service backups are ready. Our network is ready. Our, you know, the products are there, and certainly we'll be more than delighted to offer them to customers and complement those products with the right kind of experiences that they need with that.
I think that's great news. Thank you so much, Sumeet.
See you. Thank you very much, Rishaad. All right.